Hi guys, it's Jazz1122 here, and this video is another video that's going to go into my Jazz1122 topics playlist. If you didn't catch the first one I did, the first video I did to that was be careful who you lay next to. So if you haven't saw that one, I suggest to check that out. This is the second video of that playlist where I just talk about different things outside of tarot, right? Just talk about life. And in this thumbnail, I'm in the world where things are taken, never given. How long they choose to love you will never be your decision. This is a quote I actually live by. It's by Drake, one of my favorite artists. It's from Thank Me Now. And how long they choose to love you will never be your decision. Just that one line kept going in my head all day. I was already going to do this video, but I didn't get around to it, but it was in my head all day, so I feel like it was time to do this video. And what I also would like to add is, if I ever choose to love you, would never be your decision, because Drake is right. And Drake is a guy. And I think women, for example, can really learn from this, to be honest, because I know I have. I keep this in mind because when it comes to relationships and people go out their way to try to make people love them, but it will never be your decision. For example, it doesn't matter how much money you give someone. It doesn't matter if you yes someone to death, just agreeing with whatever they say they do, even when they're wrong, or people who try to have children and manipulate situations. What Drake's saying is true, and it's from a man. And I really look at that, and it really changed my outlook, because from that point I realized you have no control really in how someone feels about you. It is ultimately that person's choice. Now, I know I'm not the only one that has seen people who could not accept that someone didn't love them, to the point that they will go and do things to try to make someone love them. But how many times have that worked out in anyone's favor? For example, for people that would try to get someone to love them, one tactic could be to spoil them. Not because it's from the heart. No. But because people feel by spoiling someone that will make them look at them highly. And especially if you're spoiling a guy, that's not actually how it works. See, let's say if a woman, right, she really wants to be with a guy, and she knows that that guy is not in love with her, right? But she can't accept that he's not. So she may take the route of many routes. Number one, spoiling him, right? So that means anything he wants. Also, offering to pay bills, because there's women that do this. There's women that go around that, if depending on how bad they want the guy, they will actually use finances like, oh, I'll pay your phone bill. Oh, I'll pay your rent. Oh, I'll pay this. Oh, I'll pay that, right? And then what happens over time in that relationship? That guy actually starts to treat that girl like the gum on his shoe. And the woman may be like, well, after all I've done for you. But see, this is where we have to be careful of why people do things for us. Because people can do things for you to have you be in debt to them. And this is what people will try to do, right? So let's say if it was a woman, she don't want to accept that the relationship is over, right? Let's say the guy has, he could use the finances. He went through a tough time. So then that means if this woman knows this, then she could be like, well, he is in debt a little bit, so maybe if I pay his debts that he'll love me. No, no, no. Like Drake says, how long they choose to love you will never be your decision. That means rather it doesn't matter how much money you give somebody. Or another thing I noticed that people do is yesing someone to death. Now, what I mean by that is someone who's trying to get close to someone by saying yes to everything. Because in that, right, this is another tactic somebody may use to try to get someone to love them. I'm saying these tactics because I want people to be careful of why people are trying to be in a relationship with you. Why do people do the things that they do? Are they doing the things that they do because they truly love you, or they're trying to manipulate you into loving you? Is two different things. Two different things. Now, with me listening to this Drake lyric, I have had to let go of people that I cared about greatly. But like Drake says, how long they choose to love you will never be your decision. And I know for me, it doesn't matter what I do. If someone does not feel that way about me, they have every right to not feel that way about me. However, it's when people try to force or manipulate or try to play the good guy and say, I do these things for you to show that I love you. But is that really true? Do those things really come from the bottom of your heart? And a lot of people may wonder why, like, throughout my relationship experiences, why I'm not bitter, for example. Is because I gave to each and every person I was with from my heart. It's not in me to try to buy your love, for example, by let me pay your phone bill, let me pay your rent, let me do this, let me do that, because then he'll look at me as a ride or die. No, because men love and value what they respect. And this goes into, it's like, it's never easy to hear that someone is not in love with us anymore. They're not happy with us anymore. But it's a whole other thing when you try to manipulate the situation and do things for people so you hold over their head later. Because you're not doing it from the kindness of your heart. You're doing it so that person will be in debt to you. Right? So I want people to really think about that. To everyone who watched this video, why do the people love you? Why do the people care about you so much? Do they truly give from you from their heart? That means that what they did for you was from the heart. Or do you have people doing things for you so they could throw it back in your face later and play victim later? And say, I did all these things for you. And this is another thing. I forgot what dude told me this. Oh, it was actually my last partner. That's who it was. I went to go pick him up from somewhere, right? To be nice. Just to be kind, right? And he actually wasn't there. He went somewhere else. And, well, he was in another, like, I went to go to pick him up from somewhere, but then he traveled somewhere else, and I called him, and I said, where are you? He said, well, I'm at such and such. I said, oh, well, I was trying to be nice to pick you up, and he said, I ain't asked you to do that. I said, that actually triggered my memory. That was near when we broke up, too. And I would never forget that. And men tell women this plenty of times. I never asked you to do that. And how many of us as women, we're like, we know, you didn't ask us, but we wanted to. But I have to say, men who say that are right. Because even though I didn't want to hear that, after like my last partner told me that, I said, see, how long they choose to love you will never be your decision. Do you think I went out my way to go and do anything for him anymore? Absolutely not. Because you want to know why? I use him as an example because I learned a lot really in my last relationship, honestly. A lot. And this quote hits exactly with that relationship. Because he was dating this girl before me, right? And what that girl was doing, she had no shame in her game. She was all down with the manipulation, messing with this guy, messing with that guy, to, even getting far as getting pregnant by another man and saying that it was his. That makes sense why this happened during our relationship, and I didn't even know till after. So it made sense why he was so irritable like that. Because towards the end of our relationship, I didn't know what was going on, but he was hiding from me that his ex-girlfriend was having a baby. And she told him that it was his. Now, this is going into how long they choose to love you will never be your decision. Because he started to move on from her. And she didn't like that. So she went to any means necessary. So yeah, she had the baby, right? Yeah, he broke up with me, right? But guess what? The baby wasn't his. So guess what happens? See, when you be spiteful like that, or you try to manipulate people into loving you, the only person you hurt is yourself. Because guess what, y'all? Every day for the rest of her life, she has to look at that baby and be reminded that this was a failed attempt to make my ex-boyfriend a father. And I couldn't even imagine, because she had this plan down pat, right? And she got what she wanted. She wanted us to break up. But see, this is where the universe come in for me. Because I wasn't willing to sell my soul to be with him, because I have a moral code that I don't break. And I was like, dang, if I gotta lie to you, I'm talking about my ex-boyfriend. If I gotta lie to you, if I gotta connive you, if I have to go about my way, I was not going to get pregnant by another dude and then say it's yours to him to keep him. Absolutely not. Because like Drake says, how long they choose to love you will never be your decision. And because I live by that quote, right? Guess what? That's sometime after that, I met my partner. See, when you learn to let go and stop trying to force people to love you, the universe will bring you someone where you don't got to do all that with. I don't have to sell my soul to be with my partner. I don't have to lie to him to be with him. I don't have to give him money or be afraid to speak my mind. Because one thing is, I'm not a yes man. And that's one thing that my partner loves about me, is that I speak my mind. And I want to say to my subscribers, don't dim who you are to try to make somebody love you, because how long they choose to love you will never be your decision. And, did it hurt my feelings that happened? Of course it did. Did I still care about him even though we broke up? Absolutely I did. But like I said, I got a moral code that I won't break. And like Dre said, how long they choose to love you will never be your decision. And the worst part about it is she learned that the hard way too, because she ended up losing him too. So even though she tried to break me and him up, which happened, but through her being spiteful, it blessed me. So I want to say this also to people, right? If you feel that somebody took somebody from you, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Because when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite. I don't have any regrets because I didn't sell my soul. And I want my subscribers to don't sell your soul. Don't fold on your morals to try to get somebody to love you, because the right person for you would love you, and all of you. You wouldn't have to be a yes man. You wouldn't have to be an ATM. You wouldn't have to be a doormat. You would just be you. And that's what I want my subscribers to know. And this has been on my head all day. I don't know why I even told that story, because that wasn't going to be part of it. But I would say that relationship really matches this. Because I've seen women do crazy things. And I'll give another example. In my college relationship, right? I was dating this guy, and we was going to break up anyway. That's not the point. But a guy that I dated before that, he literally told my boyfriend that I was trying to talk to him, and I wasn't, because I was cool with his sister. So I added his sister. And then when the dude I was dating in college found out, he was like, you talking to him, blah, blah, blah. I said, what are you talking about? I'm not talking to him. You seen him in my inbox. When have you seen me talk to him? And guess what? We broke up also because of that. And the worst part about it is the guy who did it, he was like, Jazz, I'm sorry. But he never told my boyfriend at the time that he lied. Because I said to my ex that I dated, this was an older ex though, I said, why did you do that? You know, like, why did you lie to him? Because like if I'm going to talk about women do some shiesty stuff, I'm also going to talk about the men that also did shiesty stuff to me too. And I was just upset, and he was just like, Jazz, you know, I'm sorry I lied. So he wanted to break pretty much and cause problems between me and my college boyfriend, which we already had problems. And this is what I say, but I wasn't in love with that guy anymore, the one who lied to my other boyfriend. So I've seen women try to do crazy stuff to break my relationships up. I've seen men do crazy stuff to try to break my relationships up. Like, I just want people to understand, when you go home wrecking situations, you wreck your own home. You don't prosper long term. Just like with my last ex-boyfriend, his ex didn't prosper. You know what I mean? By doing that, now she's stuck with a kid that she's reminded every day that is not his. So at the end of the day, you put yourself through all of this for what? And just like the story I told about my college boyfriend and the ex I had before that, I know it sounds complicated. I know. But it all goes into the story, man. If you feel you gotta lie and deceit, then that means that love is not for you. And I'm going to tell you something. People like that don't prosper in the end. And people always wonder, Jazz, how you get through so much stuff? Is because I'm not bitter. I get better. And that's what I encourage my subscribers to do. And to also think about this quote the next time you feel down about yourself. If they ever choose to love me, that will never be my decision. I have no control over that. No, like I said, you can give someone the world, but when it's not you, it's not you. Make sure you find someone who loves you for you. So, guys, I just wanted to come on and do that video, and I'll catch you guys later.